Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture just to see how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, we are back. You see what we are reviewing is scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. And as you check that out, please support the channel. Hit that like button. And if you hit that like button and you see what you like, hit the subscribe button. Once you hit the subscribe button, you'll be open to a plethora of playlists of all the movies and television series that I have reviewed thus far. Uh, you won't be surprised. You won't be disappointed. We have fun over here. Listen, we got a lot to talk about with Bel Air season 2, episode 9, entitled "Just Like Old Times." We've got one more episode, and that episode will play tomorrow. Today is the Wednesday before the 10th episode. I'm sorry about the lateness of this episode because I don't know why I thought I had recorded it. And I looked at my playlist to see how the video was doing. It wasn't even up. I didn't even do it. Sorry, that's life, y'all. That's just basically life. So listen, let's get into this episode. And you know how we do over here. We go by each child or each person, and we talk about what's going on with each person. We saw a little bit of Ashley today. And, you know, I've always said, and I think I will continue to say, is that age group, I do not think that this show is utilizing Ashley or has a storyline with Ashley, to me, that's sufficient. I mean, you have this particular age group. I call them the TikTok age. You have this age group that it would be nice to see them on TV, to see them who they are explored as a generation. And I just don't think that Bel Air has utilized Ashley enough for that. Needless to say, she joined her sister Hillary with assisting her with Hillary's big show, big break. Now, let's get into Hillary. Now, Hillary, you know, she's still dibbling and dabbling with the basketball player. Is he basketball or football? I can't think of what, because they were playing like a powder puff football game in the backyard. So I can't tell if he was football or if he's basketball. I think he's football. Anyway, she's still nippling that because she's still hung up on Jazz. But to me, she's hung up on Jazz. She wants Jazz to come back. Jazz wants her to come back, and they're not meeting in the same place. But anyway, everybody is giving her props for all the stuff that she's done to make the house seem good, make the house, you know, more popular, and getting all these hits on Instagram and TikTok and everything like that. So the football player, he's a football player. The football player allows, remember last episode, Hillary was able to hook up with his marketing team. With her hooking up with the marketing team, she was able to get a billboard of herself that brought more attention to the house, because, you know, she's the cook. And we haven't really seen Hillary cook as much like she did last year. And that's something interesting. But she's the cooker. She's the cooker. She's the chef in the house. So we haven't been privy to her doing her videos. But she's also marketing and everything like that. And I'm so glad to see that she is doing all that she needs to do for the house instead of worrying about what Ivy is doing, because Ivy don't even live in the house. She's not even worried about the house. Ivy is just you doing that to be able to further what she needs. And as long as she can get, as long as her views and things don't decline, she's cool with that. But he is really working with Hillary. He's really working on trying to make sure that Hillary knows that he is really trying to get with Hillary. Okay. He's really trying to get with Hillary. He's made it known in the last couple of episodes, but Hillary hasn't been receiving that message because of the fact that she's still hung up on Jazz. And speaking of Jazz, we see Jazz is all on his Instagram live account because he's doing like a soft reboot of his record shop. And he's having all of these people and influencers and things like that kind of pull through. He's got some kind of musical group that's there that's kind of helping him to do this live stream, and he's going to be live streaming pretty much all night. And Hillary's watching these live streams, and she had gone to text him to tell him, hey, hope it goes well tonight, because apparently she planned all of this stuff for him. And she had plans on pulling through, but we'll tell you in just a second. So she's going back and forth, and Hillary is not Hillary, but Ivy is like telling her, look, you got this big old football player here that's salivating at the mouth for you, and Jazz is in the past, and he's in your past, but he's currently now your future. What's that song by Seventh Streeter? How my ex-boyfriend could be my next boyfriend. Y'all check that song out. It's a pretty good song. So, Hillary is just, going back and forth and going back and forth. So her event ends. And so LaMarcus, that's his name. Oh, LaMarcus. LaMarcus is again, he's doing what he needs to do to try to hit on Hillary. And he asked her, he says, you could stay. We can be in the hot tub together. And she's like, no, I'm a little tired. I need to go. But she's really going over there to Jazz. She goes over there to Jazz. Now, what she doesn't know is that Jazz has been watching the door to see if she shows up, And, he's talked to Will about it. And Will's like, she's going to pull through. She's going to come through. And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to sweat it, but, I don't know. And Hillary pulls through. But what happens is he's in there dancing. And the one time that he does not look up to see her at the door, she is at the door. And it bothers her to see him dancing with someone else. And so she gets in her feelings and she leaves. And as soon as she leaves the threshold of the door, that's when Jazz looks up and, she's not there. And I was like, damn it, these two. So they're going to be star-crossed lovers. I see that right now. They're going to be star-crossed lovers, because every time you think they're going to get together good, they are just going to, it's just never going to hit. So Hillary takes her tail over there back to LaMarcus, and, they light up the hot tub, and you know what happened after that. Meanwhile, with Will, and I don't know, this particular storyline with Will and everything like that, it just don't, it's just not hitting with me. It's just not hitting with me, and I don't know why it isn't, but, because I'm like, how many father figures do you need, Will? And this may be a bias on mine. Y'all put it down in the comments and tell me if I'm tripping, because I can trip a lot. But I just feel like he's just he's holding everybody at this father figure level in his head, and then people don't meet it, and then he's just like so desperately disappointed. And I know desperately is not the right word, but he is just so hurt. And he's expecting people to walk this real fine line, because he has this in his head of what he thinks people are supposed to do. And then when they disappoint him, it's almost like he's almost like trash. He throws them away. And like I said, we all know that Doc is not we know Doc is doing some things that are not completely on the up and up, and we kind of understand that. But honestly, and I'm not saying that just because these people are doing it, you should do it too, but it shouldn't be anything that anyone shouldn't expect. There's always some bad dealing, particularly when you talk about levels like that with boosters and sponsors and things like that. There's always some stuff that just barely hits the line. But he's having an issue with his partner, his ex-partner. He tried to buy him out. That ex-partner doesn't want to be bought out. I think that ex-partner wants to come back, because it was the ex-partner, according to Doc, that was doing so much of the illegal stuff that it was becoming too obvious. I hope that makes sense. He was instead of him just being right here, he was doing so much illegal stuff that it's teetering on I don't want to say teetering, but he's too close to the doggone line. I mean, it's almost to the point where you know how sometimes people will do things that are not above the up and up, but it teeters on that line to where it's not worth it to try to figure it out, because if they are anywhere above that line, then they're fine. But it just looks, you know, the optics look bad, and that's what it is. It seems like the ex-partner was teetering above below the line, and it was getting too obvious that he was teetering below the line simply because of his need to get paid and have a payday. And then plus, you know, when you mess with the goons and the gangsters, there's always some real busy illegal activity. And it's to the point at this point, since that Doc got involved with some of that illegal activity, that the ex-partner is now wanting to expose him and all the dealings that they've done. And if they do that, then the D1 schools will not sign or touch anybody on the team, and that's even including Will. So that other guy got out just in time, because he already has his deal and everything like that. So if it goes south, he's considered safe, but these new kids would suffer the consequences. So Will tells Uncle Phil, and basically what happens is that Uncle Phil goes to confront him, and he ends up walking right straight into a trap, because now what is his name? Doc knows about how Uncle Phil got Will off, so he's kind of using that as leverage, I guess, for them to deal with his ex-partner. And I hate that for him. I hate that for him. I hate that Will said anything. You know, again, you opening your mouth and you trying to handle some stuff, and you not understanding the layout. You just think because you come from Philly and you a street kid, you think you know as much as these street adults, honey. Please. That's way over your head. And now you've got Uncle Phil involved in some mess that really shouldn't be involved. But I also fault Jeffrey, because I think Jeffrey should have just left and went over there and watched out for Will, because now this is becoming a mess. Will confronted Jackie, and Jackie basically told him that she knew that her uncle wanted Will because she was trying to get to Uncle Phil. And so, you know, Will is hurt, you know, about that. And he's quit. Yeah, I guess he quit Jackie. Also, Will has lunch with Lisa. Lisa has been a very secondary character this year. The only big thing storyline that we've had with her is her and this boy. What's his name? Dean. What is this child's name? I can't think of what his name. Old light skin, tall light skin dude. And her inability, I don't know why she cannot see the red flags. That is Drew. That's his name, Drew. I don't see why she doesn't see the red flags. They have to show her the red flags, but she seems to think they're doing it all because they all want to get back with her, and nobody wants to get back with Lisa. It's just that they're just saying, you know, we've all settled that we're friends. You didn't want to believe Carlton. He says, I told Carlton about Drew because I knew that you would believe Carlton before you would believe me, but it seems like you didn't believe either one of us. And so now, and she was like, well, I can't believe he did that. She says he did. He did do that. He did that to hurt the campaigns, and that's what happened. Yeah, that's about it. There wasn't nothing that came off of that. Then we get to Carlton, and we find out what happened last night. So Carlton took all his drugs and got passed out. So the other guys decided that they were going to drive Carlton's car, and they drove his car all the way to the Pacific Palisades. And they drove his car all the way to the Pacific Palisades. It ran out of gas, so they left his car there, and then they went someplace else. And so when Carlton, you know, last episode when Carlton woke up, he didn't know what was going on, and he didn't have anybody's numbers memorized. Because I was wondering why he didn't call Will, but he didn't have anybody's numbers memorized but his mama number. And that's something. But anyway, he had the number written, memorized. He called his mom. And so what happened is Connor's mom came over to the home because she wanted to know what happened last night because Connor has lost his father's or his grandfather's watch. And he first said that he was robbed. And so Carlton was like, well, I don't know nothing about that. And he stuck to his story. And Connor kind of backed him up and said that, we did split part ways. Connor told him what the truth of what happened. That, like I said, they drove out to the Palisades. They got out into the water. And when he got out to the water, he lost his wallet. He lost the watch. He lost a couple of other things too. And so, but he's still supplying Carlton with drugs. Will kind of picked up that he was on drugs, and he went through his room to try to see if he could find the drugs. But Carlton kind of stopped him before he got to the drug drawer, because you remember it's the drawer right anyway. And Carlton put this song and dance, but Will wasn't. Now, this one thing I was very proud about Will. He was like, I'm not paying attention to that. I'm not listening to you tell me these lies because I know you're on something. But I'm telling you what, the only person that is going to hurt is you, and you don't seem to see it. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen next episode. I don't know what's going to happen next episode, but it's not looking good for Carlton in this drug. But that was basically the episode, y'all. It wasn't all that much going on. So I'll just add right here for maybe like the next 5 minutes my thoughts so far of this season. It's been a decent season. I do like that their Hillary storyline is so much meatier. But to make her storyline meatier, it seems like they have just really dumbed down Will's storyline. I mean, it's a decent storyline, but I would have loved that his relationship with Jackie would have been a little bit more intense, because there was some intensity about Jackie. But remember, she had gotten really drunk, and then we don't know why she got drunk. I wish we understood and knew what that intensity was, and allowed that to carry through. Plus, Will knowing. So this storyline about Will knowing that Doc does some shady stuff, I think that should have been weaved in there so that he would have to have allegiances. Is he aligned with Doc and Jackie, or would he be aligned with Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil? Because I wanted some tension like that, and we didn't get that. And I think that was just a wasted opportunity for that. I think the storyline as far as with Jeffrey and his son, it was bad. You made this big climax about him seeing his son, and then he sees the son, and then it just goes, nothing else. I wish there would have been more tension. I wish there would have been more stakes, like him going to see his son will cause for the folks over in England to kind of come over and try to figure out what's going on with Jeffrey. And that thing could have tied into this Doc stuff and all this undercover stuff. Like, it could have tied into any of those things. I think that could have happened. I think his son's mom could have tied in. They could have tied something. There should have been more than what we got. I wish that there had been just extra stakes, because Uncle Phil knew where he was. I really wish there would have been something else besides what we got. Just some level of tension, and it could have arced in 3 episodes. You could have, all those things could have arced in 3 episodes. I'm thinking that we're going to see more information about his son, and that's all we got. I talked about Will, talked about Hillary. I think Carlton's descent storyline and back into drugs has been sufficient, because I am worried about Carlton. I've told you all that several times, and that has really, really for me been they have kept my interest on that. And like I've always said, every episode, they do not utilize Ashley and her generation or have a sufficient storyline. She's just like the sidekick in this whole thing. And I do think that there could have been, because she's in middle school. the stuff people go through in middle school. I remember the stuff that I went through middle school back in the 1900s, as these young people say. I would love to see what goes on with her in middle school. You didn't have to have too many characters. You just needed Ashley and two or three other people. I thought it was a great thing about the kids that she was going to play video games with and stuff like that. Why did we not have a storyline, an extra storyline with her and the other kids? I mean, you already had the two or three little kids. You could have. I mean, I just don't understand. I just think that she's underutilized. Viv, it's good to see her working. I would love to see. I don't know what happened to Reed, child. I don't know what happened to old light skin. He just was dogging her out. He wasn't trying to see her for nothing. I don't know where he went. What happened with him? She put him down just as quickly as she picked him up, child. So I don't know what's going on with Reed. I don't know what's going on with that storyline. I guess they put that to bed, and I guess this is why Erica is here. But Erica is what I call her. Erica is a little snake. Erica is one of those women that wants what you have. And she's very she used different little tactics to get what you have. And then once she gets it, it's not what she thought it was, and then she gets ready to discard it. And I think that that's probably true for all of her two husbands that she had. She probably wanted those men so bad, and she did everything she could to get those men because it looked like it was beautiful from somebody else's somebody else's yard. Looked better than her yard, so she had to be over there in their yard. And then when she got over there, she realized it was just too much work for her to do. And I think I described or did an analogy in another video, so I won't bore you all with doing it again. But that's just it. So like I said, this season has been a little lackluster. There's not been these big stakes. You know, last season it led up to Will meeting his father and when his father was going to come. And that was a big deal. People finding out what Uncle Phil did to get Will there, that was a big deal. You know, all of these things were big deals. But this season, it was just very lackluster. There was nothing really of big stakes. And the only thing that's a big stakes right now that this season has really shown is Carlton. And like I said, I have enjoyed his storyline because it keeps me engaged and keep me worried about him. But everybody else is like, yeah. They're just kind of just moseying along. But overall, like I said, I have enjoyed the season. I have enjoyed the series. I'm just, going into the season finale. There's nothing really pushing me into it. You know, it's like it was. You remember last year it was like must see TV on Thursday. We was rushing to see this episode, and now it's just like not that big of a rush. So. But that's my time, y'all. I don't want to keep going in and going in and going in. Please tell me how you felt about this episode. What do you think about the stakes within this episode? What do you think about Erica? What do you think about how Aunt Vivian is handling Erica? Do you think Uncle Phil is worried about Erica? I know Jeffrey is. What do you think about Will's storyline? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? I mean, tomorrow, actually. What do you think is going to happen on the next episode? How do you feel the stakes about Will? Will is just kind of floundering to me in this episode. There's really no big stakes for him right now. I do know that he is, his basketball legacy is at risk. But, as far as the storyline goes, it's the relationship with Jackie is not what it is. His relation, he's looking for too many father figures in regards to and trying to uphold people to a standard that nobody is going to achieve because Uncle Phil couldn't achieve it, Jeffrey couldn't achieve it, now Doc can't achieve it. I don't think he's doing well by Carlton, even though he promised to look out for him. But at the same token, I think that was just a lot for Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil to put on Will like that and all the other kids. I'm enjoying Hillary. I'm enjoying that she's her storyline has evolved and about her and Jazz and the tension. I hope she figures out LaMarcus, and she figures out LaMarcus soon, because I think, though I do think he likes her, I think there is an ulterior motive, and we haven't been able to suss that out yet. All right, people. That's my time. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, people, bye-bye.